Good day everyone, my name is Charlotte Claire Pebinasa and my task is to report about chapter 8, which is gender interests and needs. So I am the first reporter of group 8, then my task is to report the gender interests and needs. So the learning outcomes will be identify the difference between gender interests and needs, and then my other group mates will also report the examples of gender needs and explain how policy can be made responsive to these needs. And lastly, discover his own strategic and practical gender needs. So now, the pre-work of for this chapter will be think about your needs as a person. Make a list of these basic needs and find out how society responds to them. So, do women have particular needs in which the Philippines society must be supportive of? So now, first, let's tackle about gender needs and interest in development. So, we must identify this first. So, empowerment of women, especially the poor and marginalized, is crucial to sustain human development. Similarly, importance must also be given to care-oriented or socialized feminine values. The challenge now lies in the structure of development programs. However, varying policies and programs are imposed often imposed and on women in the discourse of formal economic system. Women rules are still shaped by development agencies that somehow do not understand the context of the rationale of the women from grassroots. So, kaning gender interests and gender needs. So, each of us, men and women, have different needs. Some of us, are men and women have basic needs. So, for example, men ha men needs sample underwear and clothes. Mauna ang mga example sa men. So, in women, we have some basic needs that we need to meet. So, women have and we need different needs so that we can sustain our daily lives. So, the gender empowerment of women is very important because from the past generation, women experience discrimination, bullies, and equal treatment than men because they think people in the past generation are men are more powerful than women. So now in this generation, women are also empowerment by our society. They have men are women are given rules and protection from the society and the government. So now let's proceed to gender interests. So gender issues are assumed many to be the same for all those belonging to the same sex. The nation also applies to the gender interests of women. Their gender interests are presumed to be one and the same because they share similar biological characteristics. However, this view discounts women's socialized gender rules. Maxine Molinex, a feminist, often quoted for her ideas or genderist Gender interests in different social movements. Define gender interests as interests that are developed by men or women by virtue of their social positioning. Through gender attributes, planners translate gender interests into identifiable and concrete gender needs. Gender interests are considered prioritized gender concern, while gender needs are means by which their concern may be satisfied. Gender interests are further differentiated to either practical or strategical depending on how the gender interests are addressed. So, both men and women have different interests. So, some are some women have interest in dancing, while men are interested in playing basketball, but sometimes men are and women are met together, they have the same interest. So in this generation, we are open to this kind of interest. So we have equal, so we need to adapt it and understand it. Then, so gender needs have practical gender needs and strategic gender needs. So practical gender needs, access to water and proper nutrition, are universal needs. However, masking these needs under the use of women needs may distract women from their true need, gender equality. Meanwhile, strategic gender needs are women identify needs because of their subordinate position to men in their society. These needs are different from women's practical gender needs because they go beyond accept of the existing gender division or labor, focusing more on the attainment of gender equality and women empowerment. Strategic gender interests confront issues that are the heart of the feminist movement: gender inequality, gender justice, and women empowerment. Addressing these interests may bring about change and empowerment. So, strategic gender needs are those the, that stem from a woman's strategic gender interests due to her socialized gender role as a woman and who has subordinate positioning in the society. These are needs that's rooted in gender inequality, lack of political representation, the unfair gender division of labor, violence against women, and non-observance of equal pay. If women's gender interest is that of gender equality, and the issue tackled concerns domestic violence, then the gender need involves the creation of laws that can protect women from domestic violence. So, in this gender practical strategic gender needs is these issues are common from women. They have inequality of rights in the society. They have the experience discrimination, bullies, and etc. So to make this more more become more become less in this our society, so the government applies different laws that can protect women. Some are example is the VAUSI. So VAUSI is one of the rule of the government that can protect women. And now in this generation, we are very thankful and we are relevant to the society because we have equal rights and the government improve the protection of each of us and decide to have women empowerment, and they have different rules to make our women protected. So the lesson in this chapter is we must not forget that we are all equal, and we must we must respect each other because in this society we need all of us helping together so that we will grow as a person and as an individual of this society. So despite of different challenges and discrimination from the past, let, let's make this those memories or challenges to be a better person and to be a good person as of now, because we don't know what are the big impact to those people who are victim of discrimination and bullies. So we must understand them and reflect for our bad habits, or and just we must be more understanding and be kind always. That would be all. Thank you.